Hello students of primary school science. So in today's video, we're going to look at yet another topic. So today's topic will be related to what you might be learning now or what you might be having problem if you are a P6 student. And this topic is electrical system. So in primary 5, you learn a number of systems, and of course, remember that systems is basically talking about things that's with different components. So there are many examples of systems that include even your handphone. Your handphone is a system because your handphone comprises of, you have a screen on top, okay, you have things inside that you didn't open up to see, and so on and so forth. Then after that, you have buttons that you can press at the side, right? So nowadays don't have physical button in front, but there are buttons at the sides for you to control the volume, so on and so forth, right? And system needs to form into a closed circuit in order for it to work. So this is a basic understanding of an electrical system. But as you learn more and more about electrical system, you will soon find that actually there's a lot of things that you might have been mistaken, right? So it's very common to make mistakes. So that's why today I'm going to go through 5 important key points about electrical system, hoping that as you go along, if let's say at any one point in time as you learn the system, you'll find that, this seems to be something that Mr. Leon has talked about before. Let's go watch the video again. Okay, then you will find that, actually, yes, this is a very common mistake that everyone makes. Okay, so number one mistake is what? Is this, okay? Whenever you are asked to explain, okay, why the light bulb light up, most people will just say the switch is closed. But the question is, why is it that when the switch is closed, the light bulb will light up? Right? So this is something that is so intuitive to you that you already know, but however, you never go and think deeper, especially you are a science student, you never think deeper as to why. So the why part is, in fact, right, in electrical system, we talk very much of this thing called a closed circuit, which I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So you need to mention that this is a closed circuit because only when a closed circuit, and especially between the battery and the light bulb itself, that is where you can allow electricity to flow that can eventually power your light bulb. Okay, so next time when you're answering a question of why the thing works, light up or something like that, please remember to mention the word, it is a closed circuit. Common mistake number 2, okay, that you might have thought there is no difference in the brightness of the light bulb no matter how you arrange it. So there's actually 2 things that we learned in this part, right? Which is either the light bulb can be connected one after another, what we call a series connection, or maybe they have their individual circuit, where we call a parallel connection. So in fact, there is a bit of a difference because in the case of a series connection, you are basically asking 2 light bulbs to share the energy source from the battery itself. So in actual fact, in this case, right, you will find that this will actually not give as much energy. But when in parallel, then you will be more energy. Why? Because in parallel, actually the battery is working harder. Why? Because the battery have to supply each light bulb separately. As you can see the circle I drew. But on the other hand, when you talk about the series connection, you get a case where there will be only one round that the energy will go, and it will have to supply for 2 light bulbs. And as a result of that, right, light bulbs share energy in series, but in the case of parallel, they will be given exactly the more energy in this case because it's individual, the path is individual. So as a result of that, you will find that when connected in parallel, the light bulb will become brighter. So please remember that it's not doesn't matter, actually there will be a difference. Mistake number 2 is that, which I recently seen in my student script, that electricity needs to pass through the, okay, this is electromagnet, needs to pass through the iron nail in order for this thing to work. But in actual fact, not true, okay, not true. Basically, the thing just need to be what we call a magnetic material, okay. So it does not have to be a electrical conductor. In fact, I don't want that. I want the electricity to pass through the coil wire. Okay, so in order for this thing to work, the object that is being coiled around, okay, the nail here must be a magnetic material. So mention that, and in order for it to be magnetized, okay, and of course, if you use different kind of magnetic material, actually there's also a difference. right? Like for instance, if you use iron, it's better. If you use steel, it's not as good, right? So there's a difference in terms of the type of magnetic material, but this will be something you will learn in the future, so I will not touch on it at this point. But main thing to remember is that it is the magnetic material that's important, not so much of it being an electrical conductor. Okay, so this is actually mistake number 3. Mistake number 4 is related to the light bulb connection. In a light bulb, actually there's 2 parts. There's a casing and there's a tip. So you can see from this diagram on the left, right, that in actual fact, the casing and the tip, they're attached to the different part of the filament. And this is called the filament. Okay, this is called filament. Filament is really the thing that is being heated, become warm, light up. And this is the one that provides light. So in the case of a circuit connection, right, please remember that one wire must touch the casing, the other wire must touch the tip, so that you are connecting in a full circuit to give the filament the energy. Okay, so this is common mistake number 4. People did not know that, so when they connect, they just connect any way they want to connect, right? So if you are really doing the experiment itself, and let's say you don't have a holder for your light bulb, if you want to connect a light bulb, please remember one wire is to the casing, one wire is to tip. Okay, this is our last mistake. Okay, a lot of people say that in the question, make the light bulb brighter. How to do that? So in actual fact, in those questions, right, what they really want you to do is that maybe you want to rearrange the light bulb in a different manner. But a lot of people thought that, okay, just add more battery, right? So add more battery. However, you are running into a mistake, because if let's say you add more battery, there is a possibility that, yes, you put more battery, you can possibly make it to be brighter. But the thing is that, right, at the same time, you might also run into a problem of blowing the light bulb. Because every light bulb, there is this thing called rating. Rating means the amount of energy that it needs. Okay, it's broken up into voltages and current, but of course, once again, haven't learned that yet. But anyway, it's on the light bulb itself. It will state very clearly what it needs. So meaning to say that while you are at an attempt of trying to make it brighter, you might actually end up to the case of giving it too much energy and then to the point of it blowing. So just remember that whenever a question asks you how to make it brighter, you might want to say, add more battery. I think can, but you say that add more battery provided that the light bulb will not blow. Okay, so not to the extent of blowing. Or better answer will be maybe you want to arrange them in parallel instead of series. Okay, so this is the 5 tips of today's lessons on electrical system. There isn't a lot of, I would say, open-ended for electrical system, because the main thing is to ask you to redraw the electrical circuit diagram and the concept of understanding how the different arrangement can actually cause different things to happen. Of course, last but not least, they can also place different objects in the path to ask you about whether the light bulb will light up or not. Conductor versus insulator. But mostly, I guess these are the 5 common things that you might make mistake in. That's why in this video, I'm trying to point out to you. Okay, so that's all for today. Hope you liked the video and hope to see you again in the next video. And do help me to like, subscribe and share. Thank you very much. See you again.